Okay, let's dive right into this explainer. If you're managing cloud infrastructure, databases, or really any diverse IT operations, you already know the absolute headache of chasing down logs across a dozen different servers. It's a mess, right? Well, today, we're going to fix that. We are building a streamlined architectural blueprint to centralize all your infrastructure logs straight into OCI logging analytics. Here's our roadmap for today. We'll start with centralized log analytics, move into the syslog architecture, then we'll configure OCI logging analytics, tune up the R syslog server, do some testing and visualizing, and finally wrap up with collecting other custom logs. Starting off with Section 1, Centralized Log Analytics, the single pane of glass. To really get why this setup is a total game changer for your IT ops, we've got to look at our final destination first. Oracle Cloud Logging Analytics is essentially your central repository for everything, and I mean everything. We're not just talking about OCI service logs here. It's built to ingest custom applications and heavily distributed on-prem systems too. It indexes, correlates, and visualizes all this data in one place, literally turning raw text files into actionable operational intelligence. But, here's the massive roadblock we all face. Before we can analyze a single thing, we have to solve the fundamental problem of gathering these incredibly scattered logs into that central hub. I mean, how do we get a whole fleet of diverse machines to securely and reliably funnel their system messages up to the cloud? And that brings us to Section 2, the syslog architecture, building the bridge. Let's trace the actual journey of a log. Now, we are definitely not installing agents on every single client machine, because let's face it, that would be an administrative nightmare. Instead, your client servers just generate their standard event messages and fire them over your local network to one central compute instance acting as your syslog server. Installed on this central server is the Oracle Management Agent, and that's our heavy lifter. It continuously listens, grabs those consolidated logs, and securely pushes them right up to logging analytics. It's clean, it's efficient, and it completely minimizes the footprint on your wider infrastructure. Moving right along to Section 3, configuring OCI logging analytics, setting up the destination. Now that we've got the architecture down, let's jump into the OCI console. Over in the Observability and Management Administration menu, we need to explicitly tell OCI how to listen and exactly which agent to trust. Think of it as a three-step dance. First, you create a log source defined as a syslog listener, tell it you're using a Linux host, pick your parser, and define your listening port. Second, you create an entity that represents your specific syslog server and link it to the management agent. And third, the vital handshake. Associate the source with the entity. You're basically saying, hey agent, use these listening rules. And the best part? You don't even have to guess if it worked. You'll know the association is successful the second you check your server. You can literally watch the confirmation get written directly into the mgmt_agent_login.log file on your Linux instance. Seeing that update pop up is your green light that the cloud configuration has successfully synced down to your local server. All right, Section 4, tuning the R syslog server, the command line. With the OCI console fully configured, we're going to switch gears, open up our terminal, and tell the Linux server exactly how to handle all that incoming traffic. For this, we're relying on R syslog. Honestly, it truly is the Swiss Army knife for this entire operation. Since it's the native log processor module on modern Linux releases, you probably already have it installed. We are just going to tap into its awesome routing capabilities. These next few command line steps are what turn your standard Linux server into our powerful central log forwarding hub. First, just verify the rsyslog process is actually running. Then, fire up your favorite text editor and open your rsyslog.conf file. You'll want to append the specific configuration lines provided in the OCI documentation. This tells rsyslog to route all those incoming messages to the exact local port your management agent is currently monitoring. Save the file, restart the rsyslog service, and boom, your local bridge is complete. Which leads us to Section 5, testing and visualizing logs. Seeing is believing. Okay, so we've built the bridge from the client, straight through the server, and all the way up to the cloud. But wait, before we test it, there is a critical operational pitfall we absolutely must avoid. Keep this in mind. Your entire pipeline relies completely on that Oracle Management Agent remaining active. Because our syslog is aggressively pushing data to that listener port, if the agent goes offline, those system messages are just going to drop into a black hole. So monitoring the health of your management agent is literally just as important as monitoring the logs themselves.
All right, let's verify this setup is actually working. You've got two ways to test this out. You can test directly on the syslog server using network utilities like ncat to fire off a mock message straight at the listener port, or if you want a full end-to-end test, log into one of your client servers, generate a manual log entry, and just watch it travel across the network to the central server, and ultimately right up to OCI.
And guys, here is the massive payoff. Once those test logs arrive in the OCI Log Explorer, the true power of centralized analytics is completely unlocked. You can instantly search across all your connected hosts and devices. Instead of SSHing into 10 different machines, which nobody wants to do, you just type a keyword like rclog into the dashboard, and within seconds, you see exactly where and when that event occurred across your entire fleet. It's beautiful. Finally, Section 6, collecting other custom logs, expanding the ecosystem. Now, while syslog is fantastic for standard system events, as IT professionals, we all know that's only half the story. The true beauty of this foundation is how easily you can expand your observability footprint. OCI logging analytics can ingest entirely different flavors of operational data using this exact same methodology. Need to monitor Microsoft SQL Server or MySQL? Pull the logs directly from the database tables. Running a mixed environment? Go ahead and grab those historic Windows event messages. You can pull generic application log files, query REST APIs, or ingest Oracle diagnostic logs. The whole shebang funnels into the exact same single pane of glass we just spelled. So we've taken a highly fragmented, honestly frustrating problem and engineered a clean, automated pipeline. Now that you know how to funnel all your scattered infrastructure logs, from standard Linux syslogs to complex database tables, into one powerful, searchable OCI dashboard, the real question is, what hidden operational insights are you going to uncover first? Because when you finally have all the pieces of the puzzle out on one table, the big picture becomes incredibly clear. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and happy logging.